Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel. So in today's tutorial we shall be learning how to make a tube corset with straps. Okay, it's a bustier but a corset. So if this is your first time of coming to my channel, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and to my returning subscribers, my subscribers, thank you all for engaging on my post. I appreciate you all. So here I have 1 yard of fabric. This is an African print fabric. Okay, all you need for this very tutorial is just a yard of fabric, and I'm not going to exhaust it. So you need 1 yard of fabric, 1 yard of interfacing, and which is hasty, and 1 yard of your cotton lining or your doll face or any kind of lining that you choose to use. And then you need your bonnet. So when we get to the sewing part, we'll talk about the required materials, which is the boning part, the padding, and the rest of them. So here I've marked out the measurements. I don't need this upper part, but for those of us who might need a yoke, that's why I did this. So the shoulder measurement is 15 3x3 inch neck width and neck depth, the armhole, and then I have my chest line, which is the bust divided by 6 plus 1.5, and then 1 inch for shoulder slope, which is what I have here, the bust point, the under bust, the half length, and then the corset top length. And then here is I'm using this full length of the pattern paper for the hip line. Okay, so the bust measurement, the waist measurement, the hip measurements, these are the circumference measurements. You divide them by 4. So I've already divided mine. So what I have for the bust is 8.75. I'm going to impute it, 8.75 here. I'll still highlight these measurements. So this is the chest line, the bust point, the under bust, the waist, the top length, and then the hip line. Okay, so the waist measurement I'm working with is 29.5. I'm using 29 actually. So 29 divided by 4 is 7.25. Now remember, I told us that this is going to be a bustier but a corset. So I'm going to, instead of marking 7.25 here, I'm going to take out 1 inch from the waist measurement. So 7.25 minus 1 is going to give me 6.25. So I'm going to mark 6.25 here. So note that once you take out 1 inch from this front, like now I took out 1 inch from the waist measurement on the front pattern, automatically I've taken out 2 inches from the front. Then the hip is 10.5, okay, which is 42 divided by 4 is 10.5. Now on the waistline, before I connect the markings, I'm going to impute my dart. So I'm going to use 1.5 inch for my dart. You can use 2 inches. Okay, so this is my dart. Okay, remember I told us it's a bustier but in a form of a corset. So I'm going to connect from the hip to the waist. So if you've been in my watched my previous videos before, you will understand the reason why I always use the hip line here instead of using the top length when connecting this. So now this is the waist to the bust measurement. The bust span measurement I'm working with is 7.5. So 7.5 divided by 2 is 3.75. So here I'm going to mark 3.75 here and 3.75 here, and I'll connect in a straight line. So please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Okay, so I'm going to connect it to the bust point like so. I'll take it all the way to the hem though. The midpoint of this shoulder, I have 4.5 here, which is 2.25, and then I'll connect it to the bust point On the waistline, I'm going to mark my dart intake, which is 0.75 inch on both sides. Okay, you can use 2 inches for your dart intake, and then I'll connect it to the bust point like so. For my contouring at the under bust, I usually don't make use of the under bust circumference. Remember, this is a corset, okay? So the back is going to be open, nothing will be affected. But the under bust measurement is 29, which is 7.25. Then putting into consideration the that I've taken out here, so I'm going to measure what I have here. I have 0.75. So now 7.25 is my under bust measurement, which is here. Okay, and then I'm going to replace this dart here. Remember, I'm cutting it out, so I'm going to replace it to complete the under bust measurement, 0.75. Can you see what I have here? So now I don't have anything left to contour the under bust if I have to go with this measurement I have here. So that's why I said in corset I don't consider the, even when I'm making the regular bustier, I don't consider the under bust measurements, because what we are doing here is tightening, okay, to eliminate any form of gaping. So what I'm going to do now is to mark 1 inch here. You can use 0.75 inch here and then ½ inch here, or better still, let me just make use of 0.75 inch here on the side, starting from this dark leg, please. And then on this other side, I'm going to mark ½ inch. So as long as it is corset, I don't consider this the under bust circumference. And then I'm going to connect. Now note the way I'm placing my curve, okay? So I'm just going to connect it like so. And then I'll take it all the way to the waist. I highlighted it for us to see clearly what we've done so far. So from the bust point to the under bust, I have 3.5 inch. So you can, for your cleavage, it depends on you. So I'm going to maintain this 3.5, or I'm going to subtract ½ inch from it. Okay, so you can subtract, either subtract or you add, depending on how revealing you want it or your client wants it. So either you maintain the 3.5, whatever value you have from the bust point to the under bust, or you subtract from it or increase. So for me, I'm going to maintain 3 inches. Okay, so I'm going to subtract ½ inch from it, and then on the armhole line, I'm going to come down by ½ inch. Okay, and then I'm going to create a curve. So my client, she wants a scoop neckline. Okay, first let me connect these lines like so. Now for my contouring here, I am going to use you can use ½ inch on both sides, 0.75 inch. So let me just maintain 0.75 inch on both sides. Okay, or I can do 0.75 inch here and then ½ inch on this side, just the way I did for the under bust. So that's what I did, 0.75 inch here and then ½ inch on this side, and then I'll connect like so. So for the neckline, the style line I'm working with is going to be a scoop neckline. All right, so that's what my client wants. So you can make yours a sweetheart neckline or a scoop neckline. So remember, I came down here by ½ inch, so this is the way I'm going to connect it. Now this is optional. If you want, you can maintain the armhole, okay, but for me, I'm going to come down by ½ inch there, and then I'll connect like so. So for the scoop neckline, I am going to maintain the chest line, so which is what I already marked here. So I'll connect it like so. On the hemline, I am going to go up by 1 inch. Okay, or you can do half an inch. Okay, let me just go up by half an inch, and then I'll connect like so. I want to make final alteration. So this alteration is, I'm going to measure what I have here on this left hand side, which is from here. I'm going to measure what I have here because this part is usually longer. So what I have here is about 7.25. So I'm going to bring it here. From here I'm going to place 7.25 here, and then I will measure because both must align after joining. So I'm going to measure it this way, following the curve that I have here. So as you can see, it is, I have this excess here, so I'm going to complete it so that it will match up by the time I join. Can you see? And then I'm going to reconnect my neckline like so. So the next thing I'm going to do is to cut out. This is the back pattern. So I've gone ahead and marked the yoke, the chest line, the waistline, the corset top length, and then right here is the hip length. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do now is to mark the bust measurement, which is 8.75. which is 8.75. Then the waist measurement is 7.25. So now remember, on the front part I subtracted 1 inch from the waist measurement, which is supposed to be 7.5. I took out 1 inch and I had 6.75 inch left. So on this back pattern I'm going to take out half an inch from the waist measurement. So remember, I told us that on the front part, the 1 inch I took out automatically means I've taken out 2 inches from the waist measurement. Then for this back pattern, if I take out half an inch, it means I've taken out 1 inch, which is a total of 3 inches has been removed from the waist. Okay, so I'm going to mark 6.75 here, and then the hip measurement, which is 10.5. So which means I've taken out 1 inch from this back, 2 inches from the front for my waist cinching. Okay, and then I'll connect like so. I'm not adding any dart, this is a corset. So now for the center front, I'm going to come in here by 2 inches. So I've not taken out anything from the bust line, so I'm going to mark 2 inches here, and then on the waist I'm going to mark 1 inch. So now this is half of the back, so this 1 inch I'm marking here automatically means I've taken out another 2 inches from the center back. So I'm going to connect in a straight line like so. So now the total of what I've removed from the waist is 2 inches from the front, 1 inch on the side for the back, and then another 2 inches on the center back, which means 2 is plus 1 is 5. So I've taken out a total of 5 inches from the waist. So now on the side we came down by half an inch on the side for the front. So I'm going to repeat the same thing, and then on this center back, I'm going to come down by 1 inch. Okay, which is here. and then I'm going to connect like so. So please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And this is what I have. On the hemline, we went up by half an inch, so I'm going to go up by ½ inch also, and then I'm going to connect like so. And the back is ready. So this is our center back, and then this is up, and then this is down, and this is the side back. After cutting out, this is what I have for the front. Okay, so this is the front pieces and this is the back. So I also kept the yoke from the front and then the yoke from the back. Okay, I'm going to need it by the time I want to cut out my strap. I'll still have to take the measurement I have here and the measurement I have here. Okay. I have transferred to fabric. So this is for my client, and I had to go back to my chat with her, and I realized that this fabric is for another style. It's 1 yard, and then this one is for the particular style we are working on currently, and it is also 1 yard of fabric, and this is the fabric I have left. So I told us that I won't be using the whole 1 yard for it. So I've transferred this to fabric, and here is the front pieces. Okay, and this is the back. I have here the lining and the fabric. Okay, so this is the front and it is on fold. Okay, lining, fabric, lining and fabric, which is what I have here. So I have 2 pieces of the fabric and 2 pieces of the lining, and then this is the back. I also have 2 pieces of the lining and 2 pieces of the fabric. So the next thing I'm going to do is to take this to my sewing machine and join the front pieces together, and I also join the sides together, and then we'll come back and show us what to do next. Again, I have this soft wording here. I am going to pad the lining, so I'm going to put the link to the video on how to pad your bustier on the comment section. I'll pin it there, so when you watch this video and you feel like padding yours, you can just go and watch that video and pad your bustier. So I'm going to pad only the lining and not the main fabric. Okay, because on the main fabric is where I'll be sewing my boning. So I'll do that, and then I'll come back and show us what next to do. I am done sewing this. As you can see, I also fixed my bonings to this. So this is what the inside looks like. So remember, my seam allowances are half inch. I also added ½ inch on the center back. Can you see? So if you want, you can add more boning here. This is the center back. Okay, the back panel. Okay, so but I'm okay with just the 2 I have here. So my eyelet is going to be here, and this is the lining part. So this is for my lining. So remember, I told us that I'll be padding the lining. So this is what it looks like. Can you see how nice and beautiful this is looking? Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, this is my strap. Remember, it's going to have a strap. It's optional to get the length of your strap, so that's why I kept this very yoke. So what you are going to do is to measure here. This is the shoulder slope. So from your shoulder slope, okay, first you get the midpoint, because I already did that. So get the midpoint, which is 2.5 for me, 2.25. Then I measured what I have from here to here. I have 9.5 inches. Remember, from the top I had 10 inches. Okay, but now I'm using the shoulder slope, because even if it was to have a yoke, we are not starting, the yoke is not starting from the shoulder line, rather it is starting from the shoulder slope. So I have, for the back I have 9.5, and then for the front, so from that 9.5, I'm still going to repeat the same thing from the shoulder slope, the midpoint of the shoulder slope. I have 17 inches. Okay, so my strap here is 17 inches. I added ½ an inch for ease, and then extra 1 inch for seam allowance. So that's how you get your strap. I will secure the straps with my pins on the bust line, okay, and then at the back I've also indicated where the strap is going to be at the back, following the midpoint, the mid shoulder on the back panel. Okay, so I didn't show it here, but just repeat the same thing for yours. Just get the back panel pattern and place it on the fabric, and then you indicate the midpoint following the mid shoulder. So I'll also repeat the same thing for the other side of the cup and secure the straps with my pin. After securing the straps with my pins, I am going to align the lining to the fashion fabric. Make sure it matches up. So if you've taken your seam allowances accurately, it is going to match up. So I'll match it up like this and pin it all around. I'll pin the overbust, that is the upper part, the hem and the sides, and I'll take it to my sewing machine to sew it all around. Okay, so after sewing it all around, I'll come back and show us what next to do. So if you've watched this video to this point, please do not forget to subscribe, share it to your friends, your fellow soulmates. This is beginner friendly and it is lovely. You can actually start this as a ready to wear or made on order, made to measure, and start selling it. It is very, very easy to make, and once you follow these steps here, you are going to get it perfectly well. You can make it for yourself too. So please do not forget to subscribe. So I'll show us what next to do. After sewing, this is what I have. So every part, the up, the side, the down is closed. Okay, so now we are going to bring it out from the side. So if you look at here, I have opened it up. I loosened the side. So make sure that before you open it up, you back stitch, okay, so that by the time you start bringing it out, know it has boning already. You wouldn't need to open it up all the way to the hem. Okay, so also my boning didn't get into my seam allowance. Okay, so make sure that your boning doesn't get into your seam allowance. So the next thing I'm going to do is to bring this out. It's going to be difficult, but it is doable. So I'm going to bring it out, and then I'll show us what it looks like on the right side. Okay, so I decided to show this part on camera because I know some of us might encounter challenges bringing it out. So just so you see that I did it. Okay, so take your time and bring it out from that opening by the side of the lining, and then you iron it out, and it's going to come out very beautiful. So that's why I show this part on camera. So for some of us who might be having difficulties, you can actually watch this and it will encourage you to do this also. After turning it inside out, this is what I have. So this is the strap, and you see, and this is what it looks like on the right side, and this is what it looks like on the wrong side. Okay, so I've not pressed it. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to take it to my ironing table. I am going to give it a very good press with my steam iron. Then after pressing it down, can you see this part, which is where my eyelet is going to be? I am going to secure it. So what I'm going to do is to sew it down on one side, and then I'll sew both sides of the second boning. I'll repeat the same thing here. I'll sew it down on one side, and then I'll sew both sides of the second boning, and then on the inside, which is here, I'm going to tack it with my needle and thread. So you are going to do an invisible stitch. So all you do is just thread your needle and thread, then thread your needle, and then you start sewing in a zigzag stitch. So you are going to pick the seam allowance on the inside. So when you sew one side, you take it to the next side just like a zigzag, and then you sew it up. So I'm going to do that, fix my eyelet, and then I'll place it on the dress form for us to see what it looks like. Here is the final look of this beautiful corset bustier top. Can you see how nice and beautiful this is looking? Oh my god, it's so fine, it's so pretty, and the fitting is perfect. So thank you for watching. See you in my next one, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.